Let's get value-tained, folks.
The Middle East and the world would be.
I'm willing to bet you are going to be shocked at what this conversation looks like when you find out who is on the other side.
Be a better place if Israel didn't exist.
Yes.
Okay.
Israel's committed, so many terrorist attacks. They're stealing land right now. They're operating apartheid. They're currently committing a genocide on Palestinians. Like, do you believe in the genocide they're committing?
I think they're fighting for themselves and they're defending themselves.
Do you think that's defense?
Well,
when 1,200 people died, and of which the 1,200 you've killed and admitted that you've killed a lot during, your handle.
I will tell you this.
Bro, I gave you a warning. Chat, I gave you a fucking warning. I told you have no idea who he's talking to, and you are not ready for what he is about to say. Okay? And that warning wasn't enough. Nothing could have prepared you for the rest of this video.
Part I question where people who are Jewish can't stand when I say this. I don't know how you, Netanyahu, claim you have the best intelligence in the world, Mossad, and you didn't know that on October 7th they were attacking you.
About it. They didn't. They wanted it to happen, so they had a reason to take that. They wanted a reason to take the land.
I totally get it.
And they killed their own citizens. And they claimed that all these people got raped. That was bullshit. They claimed beheaded babies. That was bullshit. Everything that they said was a fucking complete. Not only was it a lie, but they committed all those atrocities themselves to the Palestinians and been caught doing it. In fact, they just got caught gang raping Palestinians. How many babies have they killed? All the things that they accuse the Palestinians of or Hamas of or whatever, they're guilty of 100-fold themselves. And they've been doing that. Like October 7th wasn't the start of this. Like the start of this was Nakba. They've done so many.
I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, so I mean, this is not like, it's not like October 7th is like, it's all of a sudden they just came over there unsolicited and just killed people. Like they have been killing Palestinians for years and years, operating two sets of justice. It's like they have the justice.
I don't know what is going on. Okay? I don't understand what the fuck is happening where this goddamn manlet demon is spitting hot fire. And I think the reason why is because he's Armenian. Okay? I think that's part of the reason why he is more aware of this issue than the average American. That's gotta be it. Because that is gotta be it. No, it's not a third thing. It's definitely the fact that he's Armenian and Israel has armed Azerbaijan against Armenia. And Armenians are like already pretty tuned towards genocide in the region for obvious reasons. So I think that it has to be, that has to play a role here because there is no way. Yeah, he's that, or he's been possessed by the ghost of Noam Chomsky, who isn't even fucking dead. So obviously it's probably the first thing and not the other. That is my suspicion. Okay.
Justice for the Palestinians, the justice for the Israelis. And if you read the Talmud, like, if you're not Jewish, you're basically not a human. You're like, like cattle. If a Jew is killed by, somebody that's not Jewish, then it's the death penalty. If a Jew kills somebody that's not a Jew, then, you can't kill them. It's not the death penalty. Like they literally like segregate in their Bibles.
They're very protective of them.
Okay. I spoke too soon. He immediately packed it up with some weird ass shit. God damn it, dude. I spoke way too soon, okay? I literally paused it right up until the moment where this motherfucker starts talking about the Talmud and shit like that, okay? Well, there you go. He's not been taken over by the ghost of Noam Chomsky. Okay, maybe it's the third thing, okay? Maybe it's the third thing. I was wrong, okay? Especially because, yeah, there's no relevance to the fucking Talmud when you're talking about Israel. Okay, get the fuck out of here. That's number one. Number two, there are literally so many fucking things that you can actually point to in terms of like Israel being a apartheid state and having two different tiers for how to deal with Palestinians and how to deal with its own Jewish population versus its own non-Jewish population. Like there are so many things that are literally right there for you to point to. So when you have all of that, but then you turn around and you start talking about like the Talmud as a point of reference, it's like, oh God, how are you so fucking close? And then you just like immediately pivot. What is really sad, maybe a little scary actually, about this kind of thing is that I am always very fearful. I'm always very fucking fearful that like an anti-Semitic, anti-Israel way of arguing is significantly easier for like the dumbest people to understand than the actual anti-Zionist argument from a materialist point of view. This is a legitimate issue. It is so much fucking easier to just talk about like and be like, oh, Jews are conniving. Come on, you know this, and have like a shit ton of people agree with you than it is to be like, this is America's material interest in the region because they want an unsinkable aircraft carrier in a resource-rich region, and that's why they are so unconditionally loyal to fucking to this country that is like becoming increasingly more right-wing and insane. And it's just like, yeah, when you try to describe it on those terms, everyone's like, shut the fuck up, you nerd. What are you, some kind of fucking communist? Shut your bitch ass up. No, it's because they want to control the goy, okay? That's what it is. Like, they literally, Americans are so geared towards like black, white, good, bad narratives and this kind of liberalism that they unironically are just allergic to any kind of materialist understanding of the world. And they are so much more susceptible to anti-Semitic narratives, especially because like anti-Semitic narratives are already in the ether and they are like aware of it, even if it's like a kind of scary bigotry, a kind of edgy bigotry that like, ooh, you're not allowed to say.
I don't think anybody can debate that. I don't think it's a
well. It's not the problem isn't that they're protecting themselves. The problem comes when you think that you're better than other people and you think it's okay to lie to anybody that's not a Jew. You think it's okay to steal from people that are not a Jew. You have two sets of standards. The problem with that is it allows you to rationalize anything, right? And human beings are generally self-serving creatures. So if your fundamental religious belief system allows you to operate in such a way that you believe there isn't consequences to stealing from other people, killing other people, raping, kids that are under 9 years old.
The irony of this kind of argument is that it's still like fascist thinking. So you end up doing the exact same thing that you're claiming Israel is doing. Like, oh, they have like supremacist attitudes. These fucking Jews have supremacist attitudes. Okay, well now you just did the same thing. Okay, you literally did the same thing, but towards Jewish people across the board that you're claiming Jewish people are doing to others. Okay? It's so stupid. Like it literally, that's why I always say that like it's just pure fascism, right? It's fascism on the Nazi side. It's fascism on the ultra-Zionist side. It's the exact same two sides of the coin. It's just that like the in-group is different. Okay? That's it. The in-group and the out-group are different. That's the only difference. Other than that, it's still obviously ethnic superiority being reinstilled. It's everyone that is an enemy of your, anyone that is an enemy, anyone that's in the out-group is like constantly a shadowy figure that is both simultaneously weak and also strong and manipulating every part of society. Like one of the funniest parts about Israeli narratives, like ultra-Zionist nationalist narratives, that I find hilarious, ironic, scary, sad, but also fucking hilarious, is that literally every single Israeli official unironically does Nazi propaganda about Palestinians, where they'll be like every single thing that Nazis have said about Jews, they say about Arabs, where they literally will be like, oh, the entire world is actually hypnotized by the Arabs. And they always are like, too focused on the Palestinian plight. Like they're doing this to themselves and nobody understands that. It's like bar for bar identical. Okay. it's also additionally hilarious because, like, what fucking Arab lobby exists that isn't, you know, pro-Israel, like Saudis? what actual like power or political power or any kind of impression that, like, the people who have withstood basically genocide for at least the past century now, what kind of motion they have in the Western world? They have been the number one victims of American intervention. They've been the number one victims of America's violent war on terror. What are the Arabs lobby America like AIPAC does? Bro, what are you talking about? Have you seen this polling on Kamala's chances of winning if she stops weapon shipments to Israel? You've been saying this for weeks. I know. I have been. I know. And I'm right. And it's the year of Hasanabi vindication. Some try, but only the rich like the UAE and Saudi Arabia can afford it, and it doesn't move the needle against anti-Arab policy. It's too entrenched in American foreign policy. Yes, that's why a lot of the UAE and Saudi Arabian moves in that regard are very self-serving, and they also end up aligning with American interests in the region anyway. They become vassal states. Talmud shit is like immediately. It's just like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's not how any of this stuff works. No, like, normal Jewish person gives a fuck about the Talmud. Like, what the fuck? It's just, it's very, like, 4chan coded.